Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, today we have got an intricate fantasy world map with probably the best example of waterfalls of any map we have ever reviewed on this show. It is quite sublime. Detailing could be worked on, but it's still a great water map. Now, speaking of water, over on my second channel, we have the underwater survival and exploration alien world game called Subnautica. You can join me over there for a little bit of a let's play. I'd be glad to see you. It's linked down in the description, top right hand corner of your screen now. And while you're over there, hit the subscribe button. Be glad to have you along. Meanwhile, over here, as you probably already subscribed, if you haven't, you know what to do. I've got one other job for you. You can guess. That's right, hitting that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day, so thank you for your support. Today's map is just Chasing Waterfalls apparently, by Siggy Wiggy Woo, and Siggy Wiggy Woo reminds me of the lyrics to Nagasaki, which I think Noel Coward did a version of way back in the day. There's your start square. Definitely things going on there. It's busy, very busy. Your terrain heights look like that: plateau and mountains and water and islands and busy. It's a busy map. Resources also busy. It's just busy. Everywhere is busy. And then if we go across to the workshop, what do you need? Well, no DLC is required. If we scroll down, no assets, and no, it's not a trick question. The only thing that's recommended is the European Waterfalls theme, which is made by Siggy Wiggy Woo for this map, and we'll be using the realistic 1.2 LUTs, but 100% vanilla. Imagine what you could do once you start modding this up. It's quite frankly a very lovely map. I've got a little bit of blue mantle from the distance where the roads are cutting in to the sides of the cliff edges, but once you get in there, it disappears. It just depends on how far out you want to do your screenshots. Now, here we've got a little bit of a lump in the terrain, and we'll notice a little bit of this here and there. It's not the most finely polished map we've ever seen. That said, we are right on our boundary of the map. Hang on, we've got a tunnel that goes up into those trees. Not going to look at that. We'll go around the tunnel. It's not pretty, but it's kind of hidden and obscured by the trees, so we can kind of let that go a little bit. Now, some maps have a front side from which they're supposed to be seen. For example, remember the Donald Trump map? Yep, there's only one way that map's supposed to be viewed from, clearly, and that was, in the case of its ratings, the bottom of a trash bin, and that's not a political statement. You've got to see the map to understand what I mean. It was a great piece of art. It was certainly that. So the best piece of art. We have the best bits of art, we do. But no, this particular map does kind of have a front side and it has a back side, and we literally are around at the back side, and you can take that any way you like. Tiny little bit of jinky janky going on here. In fact, it's a map that has bits of jinky janky here and there, slightly bits of lumpy bumpy here and there. And in terms of things like the rail, when we get to the rail, remember, this we're dealing with this 100% fantasy map. We will accept roller coaster on this map, okay? Roller coaster, as long as it sort of, it still looks fairly pleasing to the eye, not just stupid roller coaster. If it's been worked, I'm happy. Like this intersection over here, we've got a little bit of work going on with the road, with the rail. It's not pretty. It could be cleaned up a little bit. I don't mind the gradients on those. Now, we're just going to come down this way. This is going to take us down to remember that tunnel we showed? Remember, it was like 2 seconds ago. That emerges over here out of the cliff face here. So that was a way of just cutting through from that point to this point. And there was a little spike between the two highways that back down towards that intersection. Just gone out of view. But you probably saw, I'll just mention it, I did see it, but there's a lot of little flaws with this map. I think you have to take the whole thing as an overview. It is quite an intricate, well-designed map that could easily spend another 3 or 4 months on just turning it, beautifying it, and that's without modding. In terms of going down with the smoothing tool here and there, and basically making the networking more polished, you could spend 3 months on this, just bringing this up to the top standard for vanilla. It's not the top standard for vanilla, but it is still great design and a very interesting map, and will suit a few of you, I would suggest. Right, now we're not actually in the start square, but this is the best place for today's asset, so we'll have a look at the asset review before we get to start square for a change. Now this one, yeah, we had a little bit of LOD going on there. It's Grand Pier by SvenBerlin. SvenBerlin, absolute legend when it comes to creations. Now this is version 2 of the Pier, and it's vastly improved. All the niggles that people had with it seem to have been polished out, apart from that LOD that we just saw. It's an excellent asset, and we have factoids while we are here. Factoids because factoids. Johann Sebastian Bach was born on this day, the 21st of March, in 1685. That's a long time ago. He came from an extraordinary musical family with over 50 of his relatives pursuing a career in music. I haven't even got 50 relatives. Let me list them. Hang on. 1, 2. Hang on. Do I include the ones that disowned me? I've got 4. Brilliant. Anyway, Grand Pier by SvenBerlin. That is quite magnificent, highly rated, and definitely is a subscription for those of you that want it. Anyway, let's go. Let's go back to the highways. I've got a feeling without checking that pier requires either After Dark or Park Life. Might just be Park Life. Because first load of this map, it didn't load in, and I had some DLC switched off, so you might need DLC for it. But anyway, let's keep rolling. Going down towards the start square now. This isn't actually start square here, but this is your main build area. This is where you're going to be building some sort of magnificent, beautiful, high-rise, modernistic, crazy city around here. There's your exit, your main exit off the map, off to your left now, and then if you go across to this intersection, this would be your actual start square. It's only just in the start square, and if we look across to the right, that's the area you're going to be building into, over that way. Okay, right, glad. Now we have some rail here. I'm not going to go to the edge of the map for the rail, because, well, I don't feel it's going to serve any purpose, and we've got rail here, so why not? What we'll do is we'll continue the circumnavigation of the map, looking at the rail and the standards, which are in some places, like we've got these little ramps here. These are more tram ramps than rail ramps even. And if you want the true realism, then this is just not a map for you. Why are you even here? If you want the realistic map, you can see from the thumbnail, this is not going to be a realism map. Okay, it's fantasy. So get over it, okay? We do have some encroaching foliage. If I can get the camera back a bit. Why isn't it moving? That's moving back now. Right, moving back. And so, yeah, we've got encroaching foliage, which fantasy map or not, that isn't something squishy points. We have the rail tunnel that nips down and the quite sharpening back up. Again, we're not even looking at those today because fantasy map of this variety really doesn't matter that much, I feel. As long as it's plausible. I do feel that this railway crossover is a little bit high, could be better designed. Probably a tunnel there would have been a better shout, actually. Quite pretty. Quite a pretty thing, this map. Oh, we do have, over here, in isolation, self-isolation, it's everybody's favourite isolated factory. And then the rail tunnel goes through this giant mountain, emerges over here, where you can see already, can't you? We can guess already. Shall we turn the camera around? There, we have a chunk of blue mantle going on there. We are at the backside of the mountain, but we are out of the fog. So even though it's not really intended to be seen, it can be seen. So that's a minus point for detail. And then you're off to the edge of the map. So do you reckon this one's got shipping? Well, answers down below, please.
Are you struggling with water physics in the game? Are you constantly drowning and flooding your soggy little sins? Then you need the Beginner's Guide to Water Physics by BonBonB. Click the information button now.
Guess who's back? It's BonBonB, and we've got a shipping route that goes through a low bridge there. And it is deep in the fog, but even so, I think that's what we call a fail. And then the shipping route, well, it's intricate and busy and goes pretty much everywhere that you'd want. Like here, we've got another one that goes through a bridge, and I reckon that's definitely shipping clipping going through all of that. And then around the outside of the map here, through another bridge. And yeah, it's a bit messy. Okay, it's not really seen, except for when you see a ship trying to do this in-game, trying a sharp turn, slowing down to a halt. So it is seen, and yet it isn't. Water flow, your start square, you've got plenty of flowing water because we have got waterfalls. Waterfalls are a great way of getting the water moving in this game. Good strong water flow right through the start square, and quite attractive too. So score 1 for Siggy Wiggy Woo's waterfall system. Very nice indeed. Map as a whole, yes. Fantasy, fantasy, fantasy. I would say this is one of the most spectacular fantasy maps since some of Ikanya's early work. And that's high praise, really. Yes, it's not of the same standard. I'm not saying this is Ikanya standard work. But what I am saying is, in terms of the vision and the design, yes, we are up in that kind of echelon in vision and design. Waterfalls are spectacular, and remember the one at the start of the week we had waterfalls and it was just like some were okay and some weren't, and I said it was down to the theme. Well, this custom theme by Siggy Wiggy Woo is working superbly for their waterfalls. They've done an amazing job with the theme, which is really making their map pop. Full marks for the theme and map combo. We've got a lot of the park life cave structures, and in general I'd say they work in general on this one. I'm not a big fan of them, but I've seen worse usage of them than what we're seeing today. And then of course the fantasy water flow system, the water spawn points, completely unrealistic, but who gives a monkeys on this? Nobody. This is not about pristine design. It's realism, sorry. It's about design, and the main waterfall is just stunning. All cred to you for that one. Amazing work. I love it. Absolutely love the design on this map. Now, well, what do you think of the map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. What do I think? I'm split in two minds as to what you're going to vote on this one. See, I really like it. I think it deserves a top 10 place without question. But I think you guys are a little bit tougher than me when it's a slight lack of detailing. Anyway, overall, for my opinion, aesthetically, it's striking, it's memorable, it's not an ugly map. It's not a polished map, but I'm still right up there on it. I'm going to give it 4 stars. It's a lowish 4, but it deserves that 4th star for design. Detailing, a bit sloppy. It is a bit sloppy, isn't it? It's one of those maps that I think you could spend another 100 hours working on the detailing to make it polished. As it stands, the amount of work that's gone into it, I still think it's worth 3 overall, but yeah. Gameplay potential depends, really, doesn't it? I think it's playable. I think as a fantasy map, we haven't got many playable good fantasy maps out there. I think it deserves the 4th star for that. So, Chasing Waterfalls by Siggy Wiggy Woo. I like this one. I think it needs a little bit more polish, and then it would be a seal of approval map, but it's just not quite there. Needs a little bit more work, but my goodness, that is, if you don't care and you like doing your own detailing as you go, just get in there. That is a map for the fantasy player. Love it. Very nice. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing. Don't forget Subnautica on your screen now. Do check that one out. It's the start of the series, episode 2. You're not too far behind if you join at this point. And yeah, loads of things going on BonBonB too, so check it out. Steam Weekly Chart Show tomorrow, and I'll see you again on Monday for more What Map.